Hello, everyone. I hope that you're doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha, and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm really grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I really appreciate the support. And it is raining outside right now. It is rainy season in Bali right now, so it rains a lot. So it's a little bit darker right now. I hope that's okay. You can just listen to my voice rather than seeing my face. In this video, I wanted to speak to you about rumination. And if you're an INFJ, or if you have anxiety, or if you are an overthinker, which all INFJs tend to be, you're probably spending a lot of your days and a lot of your mental power space on rumination. And you probably know already, I don't need to tell you this, that rumination is not the best use of your mental power or your time or your effort or energy. In fact, I think you've probably heard the saying that says, stressing over something or worrying about something, overthinking about something is the same as trying to solve a math problem while chewing gum, right? It's completely useless. You're not going to solve a math problem by chewing gum. And you're not going to solve your problems, whatever you're worrying about, by worrying about it, right? And I have told you many times in the videos, or told you or spoken about in many times in videos, that the best way to stop the cycle of rumination is to start writing it all down. And a lot of you have started doing that, and I know that it really works for you. But I do notice that sometimes I have a tendency to ruminate while I'm on paper, like while I'm writing on paper, right? So I'll be writing away, I'm doing my thing, and I'm trying to get over whatever's troubling me. And I'll notice that I keep on writing the same sentence over and over and over again. Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes I need to write that sentence over and over again in order to really get it into my system. You really understand what I'm trying to understand, because sometimes you look at a sentence or you read a sentence or you think about a sentence and it makes sense, but not completely. And then you read it a little bit more and then it makes a little bit more sense. And then you read it a little bit more and then it makes all the sense that is necessary, right? So it's okay sometimes to rewrite the sentence over and over again. But sometimes I will notice that I'm journaling and I'm saying the same thing or writing the same thing over and over again for 5 to 10 minutes straight. I might be writing it in different formats. I might be changing it up and, changing up the phrasing a little bit so it sounds a little bit different. Or I might be writing in a way that it makes me feel like, oh yes, I've got an insight from this situation, but it's actually not true. I'm just literally writing the same thing over and over again, rehashing it over and over again, blurting it out onto the paper, vomiting it out on the paper, and it's not useful. Yeah, that's not what you want to do with this journaling thing. Yes, you want to get all of this stuff that's clogging you up on the inside onto paper. That is the idea of journaling, right? And that's the idea of Morning Pages by Julia Cameron. You're getting all that sludge that is blocking you onto the paper. And so you write all the things down, right. But when you notice yourself kind of getting into this rut where you're just repeating yourself and you're writing over and over again for 5 to 10 minutes, you really need to take a step back, take a deep breath, take a step back and understand what is it exactly that's blocking you in this moment in time. And I've noticed this for not only myself, but a lot of INFJs, that when we are fearful of a certain step, or when we're stepping out of our comfort zone, or when we have to deal with a real world situation, something related to our finances, something related to relationships, what we really want to do is we want to hide in the corner and check out. We want to go into our imagination world. We want to go into our mind palace, our dream world, and we don't want to think about the real world anymore. We're like, no, I don't want to think about it. I'm going to just close my eyes. I'm going to pretend like it doesn't exist. And one of the ways I think we do this is through journaling, right? So, we kind of pretend like we're trying to find a solution to the problem, but we're not. We're just literally using that journaling bit, that time, to further procrastinate on solving the problem. I've noticed for myself that when I start doing this, one of my main priorities is to stop, as I said, to take a deep breath, to understand exactly what am I running away from in this moment. because there's something I'm running away from in the moment. It could be a feeling that I don't want to feel. It could be a situation that I don't want to deal with. It could be something that I need to put a boundary against, but I'm not doing it because I'm afraid. It could be something that I don't want to think about because I think that if I think about it, I'm going to make it happen. It could be 100,000 things, right? Most of them end up being these 4 things that I've mentioned, but it could be something else for you. So in that moment in time, a lot of what I need to do is step back and say, okay, what am I running away from right now, right? I'm ruminating, I'm worrying, I'm feeling anxious because I'm not dealing with something head on. I am running away from it in this moment in time. And sometimes perhaps you want to give yourself a space to do that. Perhaps you want to run away from something for a few moments, for a few minutes, for a few days perhaps. But eventually, if you don't deal with this problem, it's going to bite you in the behind, right? It's going to come at you. It's going to come at you faster than you can actually deal with it. Perhaps it's going to accelerate or become worse. And so you actually want to deal with these problems or situations right away. Like, just cut them off right away. Just cut them off at the bud, right? Because the more you ignore it, the bigger the monster gets. And the more you have to ignore it because you're just too scared now. And then it gets even bigger. And then now you're like, oh my God, I can't even look at it because it's so big. And then the more you ignore it, the bigger it gets. And eventually you're like, I just can't even think about it. And you run the opposite direction. You change your name, you move to a different country. Or you don't change your name, but you move to a different country. I'm just kidding, of course. But that's why what we need to do in that moment in time, as much as possible, if we can, is to muster up the courage, because it really is about being courageous. It's about being brave enough in that moment to say, okay, yeah, I feel like I'm not strong enough to deal with this problem. That might be true, that might not be true. Probably it's not true. Because I've dealt with many other more brilliant, more terrible, more disastrous things in my past, I'm sure. And so I can deal with this. All I need to do is be in the moment with myself and realize that I'm strong enough, that I'm intelligent enough, I'm smart enough, that I know what the solution is because I'm intuitive enough. I just need to take the time to figure it out. I just need to stop running and stand still long enough to look at it and say, okay, so this is the problem. Okay, no, I think I can solve this. And it's miraculous to me. Literally, it blows my mind every single time I think about it, because I'll spend, some time, days, weeks procrastinating on a problem, right? Sometimes years. I've procrastinated on this one financial problem for years now. And then I finally solved it last year. And I was thinking to myself, why did I procrastinate so much on this? It was so easy to solve. And it really is, for me, I've noticed every single time I will be procrastinating on solving a problem. I'll be running away from it. I'll be hiding from it. And then I'll turn around and say, okay, that's it. I'm dealing with this right now in this moment in time. And I'll sit down and I'll create a plan. And I'll notice that as soon as I do that, first of all, I get such a sense of relief. Oh my God. But more than that, the solution itself turns out to be so simple and so easy to execute that in a lot of cases, I'll just do it right away and the problem's gone. It's just gone. The worry is gone, the problem's gone, the anxiety is gone, because I just dealt with it right away because it was just so easy. Once you stop running, it becomes so easy. I'm not saying that this happens every single time, but I would have to say that 99% of the problems that I make up are in my head, so they're not actually even real. But if they are real, then the solution is usually very simple. It's not as complicated or as disastrous or as magnificent, magnanimous, as horrendous as we imagine it to be. It's actually pretty tiny. It's the fact that we're running away from it that makes it so big, right? And so I do recommend that if you are in the state of rumination next time around, or if you are in the state of anxious, worrying, doubting, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like everything's overwhelming you, feeling like you want to run away, and I've been there, we've all been there, do try as much as possible, if you are capable in that moment, to step back, take a deep breath, and just figure out what it is exactly that is causing you to be worried. What is it exactly? It's not this huge problem that can't be named. It is something pretty nameable, pretty simple to write down. It could literally be that, oh, I'm supposed to pay this bill, but I worry that I don't have enough money in my bank account, so I don't think I could pay it. Well, let's go check our bank account. If there's not enough money in it, let's go see who we can ask for money. If that's not something that's possible, let's go see if we can find another job, a second job. If that's not possible, then let's see if we can pull some money from our savings. And if that's not possible, then you go on, you kind of brainstorm a little bit. But eventually, at the fourth or fifth try, you will find a solution that works for you. I mean, it's not like we're dealing with life and death situations here mostly, right? As I said, most of these problems we've created in our heads. And actually, a lot of times I'll sit down and say, okay, what am I really worrying about here? And I'll write it down, and it'll be something really ineffectual and something really silly, like, oh, I'm worried that I have this group that I'm going to tomorrow, this writing group, and I'm worried that everyone's going to laugh at me and look at my writing and think I'm a complete fraud, right? And just writing it down and looking at it, I would say, oh, okay, well, maybe, yeah, they might laugh at me and think that I'm a fraud, but most probably that's not going to happen. Most probably they're going to look at me and say, okay, you're a writer, right? And we're a writer, and we're all writers, and we're all doing the best we can, right? So in a lot of cases, we kind of do may exaggerate the situation. We make it out to be this huge drama in our heads, and then we actually write it down, or we actually deal with it head on, and it turns out to be a teeny tiny little problem. So a lot of times the first step always has to be get out of your head, get out of this space here, because it is a horror show in there. You are torturing yourself. It is a torture chamber that we have created for some weird reason. And especially INFJs do this to ourselves. So stop, get out of this space, write it down onto paper, figure out exactly what you're dealing with, fix the problem by finding a solution that works for you, hit that solution right away, and feel that sense of relief. Yeah. Of course, you're going to be thinking to yourself, but Boom, your problems are easy, but my problems, I got loads of problems, and I don't think you know what I'm talking about, and I have a much worse time than you. And all that. I'm sure you're making up all these stories in your head. Yeah, I get it. Maybe your life is a trillion times harder than anyone else's on the planet. Maybe, maybe not. But if it is, there's still a solution to your problems. There is literally, I haven't found one problem in my life or anyone else's life, and I've had this conversation with many people. There's not one person in my life that has said, oh yes, but this problem, there's no solution to this problem. There's always something you can do, even if it's just saying, okay, I can't do anything about it, I'm just going to forget about it, I can't stop worrying about it because it doesn't actually exist, I can't do anything about it, let me just stop doing this to myself, right? And this actually comes up a lot when I speak to parents, and INFJ parents or parents in general, they worry about their kids, and one of their main worries is that the child's going to get hurt somehow. Right? But I mean, there's literally 1,000 possibilities of how a child could get hurt, and you sitting there and worrying about it, about all the different possibilities, is not really the best use of your time. Of course, you're going to do this because parents do that. I've read many times that this worst case scenario, this horror show that we create in our heads, is very common for parents, right? But is that the best use of your time? Right? I mean, isn't that better to go and spend time with your child rather than imagining that they're going to die soon and, oh my God, what am I going to do? Right? So really, I'm not an expert, and I'm not saying that I am the end all or be all, but I do realize that there are very few problems that cannot be solved, very, very few, almost non-existent. Every problem usually has a solution, and every solution can be executed pretty instantly, very, very quickly. And so that's really what we need to do when we're dealing with these ruminating situations. I can't believe this is how long I've already spoken for. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I hope this was useful for you. If you have any questions, let me know. Or you can comment below, or you can even private message me, and then I can do a video about it. Again, I hope this helps. And again, thank you so much for spending time with me. I shall see you the next time around. Bye.